And most of these short stories are about mothers and motherhood, but in really interesting, somehow pretty dark ways. There's abusive relationships, there's women whose lives on the surface seem totally normal and then they go and murder the house pet. There's women who find out that their husbands might have been downloading images from the internet that they shouldn't have been downloading. So it all seems pretty normal and domestic and suburban, and then you scratch under the surface and there's some pretty sinister stuff going on, and I just found them intoxicating and dark and surprising, and I don't know why we haven't all been shouting from the rooftops about this collection, because it's bloody good.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to cover all the collections, and I just literally hadn't come across this one at all. And then first story is lovely, and then the second story just blew me away. It was a relationship just unfolding and unraveling in the most horrifying sort of ways. Super story.
It struck me that they each showed how easily, how rapidly a life can go wrong, a relationship can go wrong, it can just turn and it's gone. And on the surface, things still seem to be okay for a little while, and then everything unravels.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that her new novel is called An Unraveling.
Unraveling, yeah, absolutely. But I will say, not all of the stories are from female perspectives, and not all the stories are, just dark and kind of, sinister. Like, some of them are just profoundly moving, and there's one that's set at a wedding where this couple go along, and it's the bride used to be best friends with their late daughter, and it's a story about grief, and then seeing this woman who is the age that their daughter would be now, and watching her get on with her life and get married, and them obviously thinking about their daughter who passed away. So the grief in that story is just, I found it really kind of emotionally wrenching. So as I said, I think she's a very, and also I should say that, I'm 32 and married, and people keep asking when I'm going to have babies. So I think that the kind of, I seem to be reading a lot about motherhood at the moment. I don't know whether it's something that I'm kind of gravitating towards, and I kind of really appreciate stories that might show the kind of the difficulties or the slightly less idealistic versions of what becoming a mother involves, and so I think I was drawn to it also for that reason.
Yeah, and I should say, although they sound very dark and bleak, and in many ways they sit with you for a long time afterwards, not in a negative way. There's just a lot to think about afterwards.